I turn 30 next year, but mentally I feel like I'm still in my early 20s. I still enjoy gaming with friends, a healthy dose of memes, and my sense of humor is definitely not mature. At the same time, I know guys 6 years younger than me who are married with kids and live the average full-time job, support the family, rinse and repeat lifestyle. I used to be scared of turning 30, but the closer I've gotten, the more I realize that number changing ultimately doesn't mean anything. Some may read that first sentence and say I'm immature, but I honestly don't care anymore. The only thing the number brings with it are preconceived notions of where you should be in your life at that point, but to that I say forget that. It's just a number. Story 1. I will tell you that while mental age may just be a number, physical age is real. My mind tells me I can still do the things a younger version of me could do, but my body tells me I'm a liar. Story 2. The older I get, the easier it becomes. Keep doing fun things until you die. The man down the street is 90, still gardens, has his evening beer, and is enjoying life. Sure, he's slowed down a bit, but he's living life. Story 3. 2 thoughts. I am 42 and still ride a BMX bike with pegs on the back through the neighborhood every morning. Before my bike ride, I take medication for blood pressure. I eat right, but those hereditary things are starting to be a real issue with a body this old. Bad hearts and hypertension run in my family. So mentally, I'm still about 22, but I have to realize how to be 42 so I can make it to 82. Forever young. Baby. Story 4. I knew I was an adult the day I revisited Roller Coaster Tycoon and wanted to run a successful business instead of taking out massive loans to design and build the biggest roller coaster. For what it's worth, I'm 28, so not far from you. While I still roughly have the same values as I did when I was 20, I'm certainly a more experienced, more wise, but also more jaded person. I've become much more pragmatic and less idealistic. And I reckon that's got to be true for most everyone. But everyone ages differently. I try not to make assumptions about people based on their age. Story 5. You are part of the last generation with significant childhood memories of a time when the internet was not everywhere. You are also part of the first generation to grow up with it. Your experience of getting older is going to be atypical compared with media depictions of the process because we are just starting to see people publish their writings on what that sort of thing was like. Unlike people in older generations, your ability to stay up to date with youth culture did not end when you left college. Story 6. There is an extremely important distinction to make when talking about age is just a number. On one hand, the way you present it in terms of how you yourself feel mentally, I agree age doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things. Do what makes you feel good. That being said, there's also the other way some use age is just a number, which is to justify having far younger partners, and when it comes to that, it starts getting a bit more questionable. Saturday Night Live did a really dark and funny sketch on the matter a while back called Meet Your Second Wife, which really encapsulated the moral issues with age is just a number when it comes to picking partners. Story 7. I turned 60 this year. In my head, I'm still in my 20s, though experience has matured my thinking and views. Also, there have been physical changes that clearly show that age isn't just a number for my body. When I turned 30, I noticed my metabolism slowed down a little. I have never been into working out, so I gained about 20 pounds seemingly overnight, with more over the next 10 years. This happened again at 40. By the time I was 53, I was up to 336 pounds. I got married at 35 and we just celebrated our 25th anniversary this year. We have 2 kids who are adults now. Take my word for it, raising 2 kids will make a huge change in you. So yeah, age is a number if you do what I didn't do. Keep fit and exercise. You'll find it's harder to lose weight as you get older, and your workouts don't have quite the same results as your hormone levels change over time. But you can feel like you're still a kid in your head, even though you're really not and your views are not the same. Story 8. I am 25. Went on a Tinder date with a 19-year-old. When it comes to maturity and even just being able to hold a conversation, age definitely isn't just a number. I do not know how some creepy middle-aged men date really young women. What do they talk about? Story 9. I'm 38, and the older I get, the more I realize maturity is an illusion. We just get old skin. But seriously, experiences give you more to work with as you get older. That being said, not everyone works this way, learning from their mistakes. So we have old adults doing foolish things, claiming whatever justification they can, tradition, heritage, habit, whatever. But change is the only way to grow, and holding on to old broken ways for comfort isn't helping anyone. To end my rant, I've met and dated older people who are some of the most immature individuals I know, and I'm currently dating someone younger who is one of the most mature people I know. Age is just a number, but all numbers still tell stories. Story 10. I'm 38 and I still feel like I'm 18. I have a wife and kid, but I still can't stand adult responsibilities. I have a pretty big job at a Fortune 500 company that I don't really like, and often feel like I'm the only one there who doesn't care. You'll probably change a little over the years, but not by much. Story 11. I turn 30 next year as well and used to worry about it. Now I see how much of a car crash this year has been. I can confidently say that my 30s are starting from a point that can only really get better. Story 12. I'm 32. I had a mini crisis in the months leading up to turning 30, especially as a gay man, where there's still a lingering stigma around being in the 30 and older crowd. But once I got past that and started discovering things about myself and looking at myself and others a little differently, I suddenly started to feel a lot better about it. For starters, I don't want that standard family, marriage, kids, career, and so on. Life that so many people in their 20s feel the need to rush into before they're 25. Especially knowing that half the time that doesn't work out, and some of them my age will probably be getting divorced within the next few years. All of the complaints most real adults have are non-applicable to me because I made different decisions out of will for some but necessity and limited options for others. The only thing I truly hate about my life is my terrible job and the fact I don't earn much from it. But even then, I only don't earn enough from my desire to have luxury items point of view. I can still afford to eat and keep the lights on, and I suppose objectively that's good enough. I'm physically fine too, no persistent aches or pains. I'm fairly but not overly active, so maybe I'm just getting the right amount of exercise. My skin has aged well so far, and having realized I kind of lucked out on this a few years ago, I started taking better care of it since I know I can't rely on luck forever. Also, no hair loss yet, so these two things together, combined with a reasonable weight and my individualistic personal style, mean I'm often assumed to be much younger. Almost no one guesses me to be over 25, and honestly, even I know I don't look it and certainly don't feel it, so I'm really not that worried about it anymore. Don't let mentally exhausted and physically tired, overweight, balding, work, and family-driven people in their 30s and older make you feel like you have to be as old as they are just because you're entering their age bracket. If age isn't just a number, then it certainly is a lifestyle choice. Make the right ones and have the right mindset, and you'll never feel as old as you are. Story 13. There really isn't an ending age for gaming, and memes and humor do not level up with you. It's not about what you are into that matters. It's how you carry yourself. You could be into the opposite of what you mentioned and still have people disapprove of you. Story 14. Age is just a number is synonymous with teenagers talking about dating older people. I think you're looking for act your age, which is relative to actual age, generation, current year, social trends, maturity, and opportunity. Story 15. I thought the same thing until I blew out my back at 34. Now at 60, after 4 back surgeries, 1 neck surgery, a knee replacement, and a broken finger during a workout, I finally accept that I am no longer young. I don't feel old, particularly, but I'm more cautious and careful. Story 16. Yeah, age is just a number, brother. I'm 35 and more interested in wheelies, traveling and adventure, career advancement, and group sex with my wife. Child-free 100%. We will never grow old because of our attitudes and choices. Story 17. I'm over 60 and still laugh at a good doorknob joke. It's not just a number. The changes in your body will make you aware of that. Each year, nothing changes much, but when you look back a decade and take stock, the changes in your body and lifestyle are obvious. In a nutshell, don't worry about it, try to live well and be kind. Story 18. Brother, I am in my 30s and have to remind myself daily that I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm in better shape now than then, but I can't function as well on very little sleep anymore, and if I hurt myself, it isn't miraculously healed overnight. Those are the biggest changes I've noticed. I still feel pretty much the same mentally, with maybe a bit less patience for entertaining nonsense from people. Story 1943, and age is largely in your head. I've been competing in Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, both at sanctioned and non-sanctioned events, and recovery is slower. At some point, I'll stick to grappling. I still do goofy things, and I still have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy. I'm married and getting ready to adopt, and I look forward to being goofy with him or her. Story 20. On the one hand, it is just a number. On the other hand, it isn't. The idea that being a certain number of years old means you should be doing specific things with your life is unreasonable, and people need to stop pretending like there is a roadmap in life that everyone has to follow. At the same time, getting older is real, and you have to acknowledge it or you're going to have a bad time. I'm older than you, but not by much. I'm just a few years away from 40 myself. However, I can tell you the difference in my body now versus when I was 20 is like night and day. I have to work harder and eat better just to maintain health that came naturally at 20. At 20, I could function on 4 hours of sleep a night for most of the week, then sleep like 12 hours a day on the weekends to catch up. Now, if I sleep any less than 7 hours, I'm not functional for that day. However, I also can't sleep more than 8 or so hours without my body feeling like a bag of rocks for at least the first hour or two when I get up. There is a song by Toby Keith that says, "I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was." That is exactly what pushing 40 feels like trying to do anything physical. While I can still tear up a court once in a while playing basketball or on a 10-mile hike over rough terrain, I can still do that stuff. But what I can't do is do that stuff all the time. This applies to more than just physical feats. In college, I drink a fifth of bourbon a night while partying and wake up and do it again the next night. For 40, that would literally kill me. So, long story short, you do have to acknowledge and understand that as you get older, things change. And I'm not saying I'm old yet, I'm not. But I'm old enough to realize I'm not physically, mentally, or emotionally the same now as I was 20 years ago. But the idea that by a certain age you should be doing specific things and not doing others, throw that out the window and you do you. You know married people with kids in their 20s. That's cool for them. My wife and I have been together for 14 years now and don't have any kids by choice. We could if we wanted. That works for us. Neither is right or wrong. They just are. Story 21. Almost reported this post until I read the description. Yeah, I'd say with 100% certainty that after high school, absolutely nobody has any idea what's going on, and if they say they do, they're lying. Story 22. I'm sitting next to my brother, who is 23, because he had a mental breakdown. He couldn't handle being alone in a situation, so I've been by his side for the last 3 weeks. I have friends who are 22 years old and older, and they wish to work in the biggest companies in the industry. A friend who is 28 has had 3 jobs in his life. He sent out 5 curriculum vitae in total and could not handle the stress of sending them. Age may be a number, but experience dictates maturity. I feel 30. I have had a hard life and I understand difficult situations. Seeing or hearing people I know complain about things that don't matter, can't handle sending a curriculum vitae, or say life is easy, brings my blood to a boil. Sure, they are the age they are, but mentally they barely reach 20. Also, physical age is set in stone. My back hurts from sleeping weirdly. Story 23. You do not really start again until 35. After 35, it becomes very noticeable. It is hard to gain or maintain muscles, hard to keep the weight off, long rehabilitation, bad hangovers, easily get injured, and so on. You need to start taking care of your body because that is not something automatic anymore. Story 24. Have you been alive during COVID? Physical age is definitely real. Our bodies lose the ability to fight disease as we age. You are born to die and each year is closer. Story 25. Age is not just a number. Core parts of your personality don't just change, but life is not kind to men who live like a man-child. When you're 40 and in the exact same place that you were at 20, you will look around and see doors and opportunities closed left and right. When it comes to dating, marriage, and family, the ability to own a home, job opportunities, and the ability to retire, this is why people have midlife crises. They realize they made mistakes for decades and can't undo them. Life can pass by in the blink of an eye. Story 26. Age is just a number, but experience is not, and you need time to obtain it. I still find it unsettling when someone dates a person their child or grandchild's age. Story 27. What was the old line? Now that I'm in my 30s, I still feel like I'm in my 20s. That is, until I spend time with people in their 20s, and I'm happy to say I've left that behind me. Story 28. As a 53-year-old man, about 80% of the time I feel like I am still in my 20s. There are only two times I do not. When I wake up and when I look in the mirror. Then I say, damn, who is that? Story 29. Age is a number that is not directly linked to maturity. Maturity is definitely a thing. I know guys in their 50s and 60s that aren't very emotionally mature who date women in their 20s. The relationships never last, though, because the women usually mature beyond their 20s, and the guys stay the same age. True story. Story 30. Just a number? Yeah, I feel underdeveloped like I'm 14, but externally I look old and scary. It's not really a number when old age effects start affecting your body. This is such a typical internet post. It's not just a number as the specific number means something in real life.